Don't forget to double tap that screen as you're coming in. Get in where you fit in. If you don't find that in this video, please watch another one. Okay, if you cruising and viewing, all views are appreciated. Return and subscribers, thank you for your support and checking in on a friend, a cuss baby, even me. Hey, friends. All right, give me a moment. Okay, now, um, I wasn't planning on coming on, not just yet, but I heard something very strong, and I need to say it. Okay, this is for someone. Someone had a question about death. So I'm going to tell you what I know, all right, about death. When a person go to sleep and they pass in their sleep, all they do is just walk out of their body. They look at their body sometimes and they just move on. There's others that'll just get back in the body and continue to live. When a person is struggling when it comes to death, it's because of fear of the unknown, as well as they're fighting. They're fighting to live. Some people feel like that they have some things that they have not finished. Others know that there are people that they have wronged and they wanted to try to get that right so they could be at peace. However, if a person passed, regardless whether or not they got the opportunity to make things right or not, they will still get that opportunity to come or go to the person that they feel like that they need to make amends to. It could happen anywhere within a couple of weeks after they left the body up until about a year later. I'm not telling you stuff that I don't know. I'm telling you what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. When they come back, it's like you may be busy and all of a sudden they start showing you like a video, you know, and you'll start off maybe traveling or something like that. And then in your mind, you'll see yourself going someplace else. And then eventually that person will pop up. This is their way of getting you to realize who they are. In some cases, um, they do it this way because they feel like this is the only way you'll know exactly who they are. In other cases, people that are very spiritual, they just walk up to you and they start talking to you. Now, if you're a fearful person, then I don't understand um, your spirituality, because you should be comfortable enough now with your spirituality to be able to assist people as well as talk to them that are no longer in the body. Just a couple of days ago, one of my uncles passed, and I had not seen him in almost 15, 20 years, right? And I was out here painting, minding my own business as usual. And he walked up on the side of me and he called me by my name. And he told me, he said, I didn't know you know how to paint. I said, I know how to do a lot of things. And then he began to tell me some things about my aunt, his wife. So he was telling me, he said, well, you know, my wife, she went to a paint and sip party, and I wasn't for sure if had went with her or not because I was waiting for him to tell me that. He didn't say that, you know, but I just felt that he was a part of it. But he did tell me this afterwards. He said, tell her that I'll be coming by to get a squeeze every now and then. Well, that was comical. because that is something that I would expect him to say. But I just said that because I wanted you to understand that sometimes people that are no longer in the body, uh, they don't take you down the road. They just come and just start talking to you. I give you another example. I had an uncle. My uncle was not the best uncle. And when he passed on, prior to him passing on, he made me his power of attorney to handle all of his affairs. And so when I got a call from the hospital that he was in, I went down there and I realized that the power of attorney papers and his directive and all of that had been removed. So I asked the the nurse on duty, which was a male. He told me he didn't have any papers, and I said, "Are you sure?" So they told me that if I had the power of attorney, to make decisions for him, that I need to send them a copy or give them a copy, and I did that. The nurse, a Caucasian man with blonde hair, heavy set, about 5'9", he put it on. I watched him. When I left the hospital, I called back. I think it was like a day and a half later, and they told me that they couldn't talk to me because they didn't have no paperwork to prove that I was his power of attorney. And I said, yeah, you do. I actually watched the gentleman put them on there. I said, there's no papers there. Long story short, his daughter took the papers off. And she called me and she told me that because she was his immediate family, that she was next in line to handle his affairs, regardless whether or not I had a power of attorney or not. This is what she said. So it was a bunch of mess, and I didn't want to be a part of it. And I know my character. If you push too hard, I'll push back. So I walked off and I walked away. Upon this man passing, I was at apartment. I was living in an apartment at that time. And I was in my bedroom at my computer. And I guess I had just finished doing whatever it was I was doing. I turned around in my office chair, and I was like facing the doorway. And I saw him walk towards me, and he told me, say, I'm sorry for all the trouble. I'm sorry for everything that I did. Now, that was like a blanket apology, because he did a lot of things over the years. But I think he was more so apologizing for me having an altercation with his daughter. But I just wanted to let you know that people that are no longer in the body will come back and talk to you if they did you dirty, if they did you wrong. The reason for this is because they cannot go any further until they get that right. Okay? Now, when my great-great-grandmother was in transition, which was like about 4 weeks in advance, I had got a phone call. And they told me that my grandmother wanted to see me. Being the high priestess that I am, the empress, I already knew what it was. And so I said, no, I'm not going. I'm going to let her wait. So my aunt called me, which is her youngest daughter, and she told me, she said, Mama want to see you. I said, I know. I said, I know why. Now, because I'm tuned in with God, with the Holy Ghost, with the Spirit of God. I did not act because when she wanted me to. I waited until I got the A-OK. And when the Spirit of God told me it's time to go, I did. And he told me all the things to take with me. So it's important that if you say you're a high priestess or you're an empress, that you understand that there's a role that you play in helping others to transition as well. It could be reading the Bible to them. It could be praying over them. It could be preparing their body, oiling their body down. Uh, in my case, I was instructed on what to do and what not to do. I was told not to anoint my body, but to anoint hers. I was told to take certain herbs and stuff over there. I did everything that I was told. And I stayed with her for about 4 hours. My grandma, little short woman. Little short woman. Yeah, but she was a fire or something. She wasn't no punk. And frankly speaking, she didn't just die. She didn't just leave. She prayed and asked God to come get her. You got to understand, there are some people leave here because they want to. There's others leave because they don't have a choice, because all of the things that they've done over the past has finally caught up with them. And then there's those that unknowingly leave here because they don't know that they have the power to stay. So my grandmother, I think like about maybe 4 hours, I said after 4 hours of me being there, I got up to leave. And I went to have a chat with my aunt. And my grandmother got out of bed and she went to the restroom. And afterwards she got back in bed. And I heard her saying, "What? Huh? What did you say?" There's nobody in the room with her, but there was. Okay, the angels were talking to her. So at that point I went back in the room, the light is off. And I saw these tiny lights around her. And so at that moment I just went into prayer mode. Okay, because I was not going to allow the enemy to take my grandmother. Okay? So after that, the lights left. I turned on the light in her bedroom. And she was telling me that she wasn't comfortable. And so no matter how she laid on the pillows or stuff, she was not comfortable. And so I heard, prop the pillows the way you sleep. And I did that. And as soon as I propped the pillows the way I sleep, I picked my I don't know how I did it, baby. I did that. I picked my grandmother up, and I sat on the pillows. I said, "How is that?" She said, "Ooh, this is comfortable." And she let out her last breath. After she let out her last breath, a friend of mine that lived on the corner across the street that came over, and I said, "Big Mama," I said, "I know doggone well you ain't finna do this to me." I said, "No, you ain't finna do this, not right now." Yeah. So, I talk to people, whether they in the body or not, okay? Just like they right here. So we took her off the bed, and my aunt called 911, and we did CPR on her. We did CPR for about, 30 minutes, 35 minutes until the paramedics got there. All right. While we were doing the CPR, my grandmother was on the other side of me. She was on the opposite side of me to the far left. And there was an angel standing on the side of her. And she hollered, called my name. She said, "I'm okay." I said, "I know you're okay." But I kept on doing CPR. And then my friend took over. And then she called my name again. She said, "I'm okay." And so I just turned and looked, and I saw her standing on the side of this tall angel. So my aunt was standing in the doorway, and I say, You can stop. I said, Big Mama says she okay. And she said, well, Mama says she okay. Everything good. I'm going. I'm finna go back and sit down and finish drinking my coffee. See, my family ain't strange to spirituality. And I know quite a few of y'all's aren't either. The paramedics got there. They put my grandmother on a stretcher. They took her to the hospital. And the doctor came out later and said that, well, she's a strong woman. He said, but she's just tired. This is why I know that she left because she wanted to, because she told me. She had told me a few years before that when she ready to go, she's going to pray and ask God to come get her. And that's what she did. For some reason, I was in downtime, so to speak. I slept for a whole day and a half, only getting up to drink a little water and to go to the restroom. And that's all I could do. That last time I went to the restroom, I washed my face and everything, and I looked in the mirror, and my grandmother kissed me right here. I felt it, and still to this day, I can still feel that kiss. She kissed me right on the outer part of my lips, and she told me, thank you. I said, you welcome. I said, but Big Mama, you didn't have to do me like that. I said, you didn't have to do a sister like that. You know? Several times after that, she came back to encourage me. So don't expect once your loved one leave that they don't come back. They'll either come back to support you, to encourage you, or to be your spiritual guide, one of your spiritual team leader people. All right. Now, when she came back the first time, she told me it's okay to fall. It's okay to stumble. But no, she said it's okay to stumble, but don't fall. Just keep going. So that was her way of encouraging me. Don't give up. Don't stop. And some of y'all need to know that. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall. But don't stay down. Get up. Get up and continue to move forward. Push forward. Don't stop. My grandmother was one of the co-founders of a church that's still standing today. She was one of the four. So when she left here in peace. And remember that if you got unfinished business and something is really eating at you, or a person and you see they're fighting to live, it's because there's some things that they did not get closure on, or they didn't give closure. And if they wronged you and you know that they can't open their mouth and speak, tell them you forgive them. Tell them that you love them. Let them know that you're going to be all right, because some people fight to stay because they feel like that you need them, because they know how you've been over the years and how you never could make it on your own. So they'll fight to stay until you say, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. If you want to rest, go ahead. I know life has been a struggle for you. I know it's been hard. I know you raised all of us. I know the stuff that you took and you didn't have to. I remember how you had to do this, that, and the other to make sure that the ends meet and all the bills are paid and the house was full of food. I remember you staying up late at nighttime taking care of us when we were sick. I remember when you encouraged me when it came to a relationship. Give your people their flowers while they're still here. Sing them songs. Don't let your pride get in the way. Set your pride to the side and allow them to see the real you. Now, I won't lie. You got some people out here that done the ultimate. And you say, well, you might want to say, well, bitch, just die. Prove it, you know? And there are some people that have done the ultimate. And you feel like that they're the devil's advocate. They're getting exactly what they deserve. But do they really deserve that? Because now they're going to be in some form of a torment. My other grandmother, when she left, she was talking to the nurse in the hospital. And she told the nurse, she said, I don't want to die. And tears rose from the corners of her eyes. When I got to the hospital with some other family members, including the pastor of the church, I walked over and I touched my grandmother. Her body was still warm. And I could see the tears, the wetness still on her face. And I was going to pray. And I was told, don't call her back. I don't understand a person saying don't call somebody back. Because there was multiple occasions that one of my other younger family members was pronounced dead because of HIV. And when I got the message, I went in prayer mode and they came back. She died 3 times. And 3 times she came back. Prior to her leaving that last time, she told me, she came to me and she told me, she said, let me go. I said, what? She said, let me go. I said, why? Now, this is my first cousin. We grew up together like sisters. We were very close. I told her, if I let you go, I'm going to miss you. She said, I know. But you got to let me go. It took everything in me after she left that next time not to pray. It was very, very difficult not to pray. A few months later, my aunt, her mother, was caring for her children. She had 5 children. And she said, ooh, these babies so much. She said, they're a handful. She said, I'm tempted to go to the cemetery and call her up out the grave and tell her, come take care of your children. I said, let's do it. The Bible tells you about love, don't it? Believeth all things, hopeth all things. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that we could have raised the dead, because that's what the Bible said. Didn't Jesus say that? The things that he do, that we can do, and moreover. But if you allow your limited thinking and mind to believe that you cannot, you won't be able to. So for the person that's either struggling and that's been asking questions about death, all right, about leaving the body. Pray and ask God to send one of His most holy angels to guide you and take you to your right and perfect place. Sometimes you will have family members that have already went before you that'll come, and they laugh and talk with you and stuff like that. Or they stay right there with you until you're ready to walk away from the body. That doesn't mean this is the end. That's not what that means. Because we breathe inside the body, but when you don't have a body, you don't miss air. You can still move around. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anything to tell y'all. But be on your best behavior, because if you know you wronged a person and that person is leaving, it is imperative that you get things right. I'm telling you this because the moment that that person leaves, there's a spirit called torment that's going to be on you like white on rice. And he will drive you stark mad. Many have lost their mind because they didn't know to repent, to ask God to forgive them. He will bring up everything that you thought, everything that you said that you forgot. All of this, he brings it back. Ain't that what the Bible say? He's called the accuser, accuser of the brethren. I experienced that one time. This is why I can tell you this. And I'm going to tell you, I went through for about 3 long weeks until I finally repented. I asked God to forgive me for everything I said, every act. And the moment that I was godly repentant, that tormenting spirit left. So if you have treated anybody bad, defraud them, stole from them, you know, and all they done was been good to you. They held you in high regards. They gave you the utmost respect. And you treated them like the dung of a dog. You're going to pay girlfriend, boyfriend. But if you repent and God don't accept your repentance, it may not either came from your heart or this is your portion. Okay? To the person that brought me my paint brush back, my paintbrush, and left it at my front door, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But you could have actually knocked on the door and handed it to me. Okay? It'd have been nice to have a conversation with you. See how you doing. Okay. You two have a good night. I'm going to get ready to close this live out, and I plan on coming back and doing some readings for y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Okay? I'll see y'all in the next video. All right? We're coming right back. I'm going to give a shout out to each person. The screen is kind of tiny, so I'm going to put my little glasses on right quick so I can read y'all. Hello, William. Shout out to William. Shout out to Away Lee. Shout out to Nikki3FN. All right. Shout out to JW. All right, and all of you that's in the background that's watching that haven't double tapped on the screen and gave me a like so this video can get some views, because you never know who's asking this question. And I would not have came out here and done this if I was not given this information very strongly. I don't just move on whims. I move when the spirit tells me to. But if you catch me when I'm not out in the spirit, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Yes, you can, William, but we're going to do that in the next video because I want this one to go ahead on and get uploaded, all right? I'll be right back. It'll be less than 5 minutes, okay? Y'all pop back in, okay? And don't forget to double tap the screen, all right? Thank you for the new subscribe. Thank you for the new subscribe. All right. All right, guys. William, you gonna come right back? Or do you need your reading like right now? All right, I'm in this here. I'll be right back.